So right now I'm literally in a trade on NASDAQ. Whilst this trade is going on, I'm going to tell you guys everything that I've learned over the past 7-ish days of me trading futures. So I'm not completely new to trading, but I am new to futures. So I'm going to tell you how I calculate my contracts, all the small tiny things that every beginner I think should know, because obviously I'm learning as a complete beginner. So whatever I've gone through, you probably want to know, because if you're new to futures as well, you probably go through the same thing. So I'm going to show you how I calculate my contracts, what pairs or what instruments or things are somewhat good, and just some tiny other details that I've written down since I've been trading. So right now, first of all, this is a trade on NAS, also known as NQ, on the 3-minute. I'm looking for a quick scalp. I kind of entered aggressive, so I do need a break of candle to come through. Otherwise, my aggressive entry might not be ideal. But right now, we are up $120. So funny enough, this is actually, okay, so we've got a break of candle. So first thing first, right? I was able to actually pass, literally, I've been trading for, let's say, about a week. And I've been able to pass a funded challenge in about a week. All right, so right now I've set my buy stop, I've set my sell stop or sell limit. Basically, my stop loss and my take profit is what I've set. It's not exactly take profit as such, like take profit stop loss, but this is how you set it. But the key thing to note, so lesson number 1 is when you set this take profit and or sell stop, buy limit, whatever it is, remember to remove it. I've made a mistake where I've just left it, I didn't cancel, so I set it and I forgot to click on exit market or just cancel everything and remove it. And then 20 minutes down the line, I got entered into another trade. Yeah, so you want to make sure you always remove it. It's very important. I forgot to do that multiple times. Right now we're up $135. So this trade is looking good so far. There is a supply coming out, so that might be the only concern, only issue. So right now I'm just responding to the Discord lots, but that's lesson number 1. Remember to move those. What was I also saying? So I've actually managed to pass. So I guess, would I say it's easier to pass challenges on here? Not really. Why I say that is the rules are slightly a bit more confusing. It's a bit more tricky. What I would say is good. So the pros about like prop firms on futures is, number 1, they are one step. So one step, so technically you can pass quicker. Secondly, you don't need a larger percentage. So usually on Forex, you need about 10%, 8% is like the standard now. On futures, I guess depending on the maths, it can be like 10% or 6%, but it's between that 6 to 10% depending on the account size. One thing you also know is that when you trade like a 50k account, a 100k account, literally the profit you need differs. With a 100k account, you need to make more to pass. With a 50 account, you need to make less. So it's not just all one thing across the board. I'll go into all this stuff in more detail in another video, but these are just small things to take note of, right? Now, this trade is not looking too good. We're back at break even right now though. But that's something to note in terms of prop firms. Now, how do I calculate contracts? That was one thing that really put me off trading futures for a very long time, because I was used to trading with magic keys. Now if you trade prop firm, you need one of these. If you don't know what this is, I've made a video on it already, but you want one of these because you just press a button and it calculates your lot size for you and you're in the trade in 1 second. Nice and easy. But I didn't want to go away from that, right? Because now I have to do things manually. So I didn't trade futures for a while because of that one issue. Plus obviously the new learning curve and a new platform, all of that stuff. But I posted on my IG not too long ago. If you don't follow me on Insta, follow me there, because that's where I post most things, most behind the scenes, my trades, etc. But I posted on IG the other day. I think I had an issue where spreads literally made me lose like so much money. It was ridiculous because of spreads, because I wanted to try out, I think, a new instrument. I think I tried out Platinum, but the spreads across different brokers was insane. On one broker it was fine, and another I lost 1%, and another I lost 3%. It was all crazy. So from there I was like, yeah, nah, forget this, man, and to look into futures. So that's kind of how that started. Still in profit, which is good on this trade because I entered aggressive though. Hopefully this trade can win and you guys can take note and learn all the small things at the same time. This will be a good video if that does happen. But regardless of the win or loss, I'll still post this anyway. But okay, so how do I calculate contracts? So it's very simple. I don't want to come off the screen because then you guys won't be able to see the trade. But again, I'll make a more detailed video probably down the line. But how we calculate contracts is very simple. In other words, you have something known as ticks, right? So when you're on TradingView, maybe I'll put a little screenshot. When you're on TradingView, you will see it when you have your position tool, right? It will show you your stop loss number, whatever that is, right? So you might have like 20 ticks is what it's going to tell you for your stop loss. So the simple way I actually do it is simply use my calculator times that tick value by whatever the instrument tick value is. So for example, with Nasdaq is always $5 per point, just per movement of anything that happens. It's always 5. That's just what Nasdaq is, always 5. So in other words, if TradingView is telling me that, okay, my stop loss here is 30, my stop loss is 30 ticks, I'm just going to do 30 times 5, and then it gives me 150. So that 150 simply means one contract based on my stop loss is going to lose me $150. And so in other words, we might even lose right now. So in other words, 1-to-1 would simply be me losing 150. Simple. So it's very, very simple. It's just as soon as I have my stop loss, put that in, times it by 5 for Nasdaq, and boom, I just know how much I'm going to lose. So obviously that's just what my risk is. So obviously 2 contracts would then be 300, just based on that number of basic maths, right? So we managed to survive. This is what's good about futures. So I'll close that with my stop loss. Didn't even make me skip a heartbeat, just because there's no such thing. And it's kind of crazy. Yes, when I was trading Forex as well, with my broker, I'll be honest, my spreads was amazing, but there's a different kind of amazing and reassurance that you have with this as well. Like, you just know it's just consistent. That's the main thing with futures, it's just consistent. I think we actually survived that loss, you know. If we can get a break of candle, right, boom, there we go. I think we actually survived. I'm up 140 now. Now if we keep pushing, the only concern is that supply coming up. That's my only issue. If we can get through that supply, that's an easy trade. All right, we've hit that supply now. Come on. If we can push through this, we're laughing. If we can literally push through this, we're good. That's all we need right now. Very close to TP, up almost $300 right now. This is a brilliant trade, brilliant entry. Just that price is struggling a tiny bit. I'll wait for this candle to wrap up before I tell you guys the next advice if you're a beginner to futures and kind of my experience. But let's see, this next candle is super important. Super important. We just need a tiny bit more. One more push and this is GG's. But if it goes downwards, it's alright probably. Hopefully this candle is just reacting to the supply, and then the next one would simply just continue upwards. All right, this next candle is now extremely important. This is either going to make or break this trade right now. And I also reduced my stop loss a while back, so I'm not too mad at it if this does lose though, because I'm losing like half of my initial risk anyway. Yeah, it's not really looking good. If this does hit stop loss before I even finish going through wanting to go through, I guess I'll wait for another trade if we do find another trade. If not, I'll just wrap up the video. Alright, I think it might be a wrap, you know. Yeah. Alright, cool. Let's see if we find another trade. Alright, so there is another trade literally right here on the M5. Just need a nice little entry and then we're good. Here's the thing about trading though, right? If you're new, it's one of those where trading is a percentage probability game, right? Yes, I could have avoided that first trade, waited for it to come down here, but sometimes that first trade would win and then it wouldn't come down here. So as long as you're happy with the risk, honestly take it. Like, trading is a risk taking game. As long as your risk is managed properly, then you will be good. This trade, I was going to enter this trade aggressive as well, but just in case, I don't want to take 2 losses just like that. So I'll send this to the Discord. Can we get an entry right now? When you actually trade futures, you can see I use a lot of buy limits and stuff. That's just because there's no spread, so you can easily set buy limit just to make sure you get a perfect entry on time. Just waiting for an entry in this position right now. Once we do get it, then we're good. But the next thing to note is that when you trade futures, right? Okay, we're in this trade. When you trade futures, it's basically easier. I would say it's somewhat easier to pass prop firm challenges, but it's hard to get a payout. And what I mean is, for example, with this account that I have right now, I'm already funded in this account, so it's an actual funded account. Like, my contract is capped to one contract basically. So this position here, I would want to enter more contract to risk like 1% like we usually do. But on this trade, I'm risking way less because though I'm funded, they've capped the risk I can use. So I can't really risk too much. So in other words, I'm only set to like, I can only win like maybe $100, $200, etc. And what this does, because your contract is capped, right? I was trading on a lower time frame the other day on the 1 minute. Because you're still using one contract, you're just making way less money because the contract is based on the amount of movements you get. So on a smaller time frame, you're just getting less movement and there's still one contract anyway. So you almost have to take multiple trades on a small time frame to make sure you can make a lot, or wait for that one position to swing. But I'm a scalper, so I don't really do that. But now that I'm trading M3, you can get a decent amount, but it's still not really a lot of money. But that's another thing. So you can't really get paid as much. You don't make as much money. That's one thing to note. So my TP is set, everything's all good to go. I'm leaving before, as soon as we hit that supply zone this time, because that's at least a 1-to-1. Big volume right now. We're already up 150, so I lost about $100 on the last trade. I'm already up in profit right now. So, but that's one thing to note with futures. Basically, they make it harder for you to get a payout depending on the account you get. It's a whole futures prop firm's a whole video on its own, but they've made it harder in some way. Or they've made it a thing where you can easily get payouts, but it's harder to pass. So it's one or the other. You just kind of pick your poison. And there's another thing where it costs money monthly as well. Instead of just a one payment for the account, you have to pay monthly. So that can rack up and become expensive. And it's like $150 in some cases per month. So that's not cheap, but technically it's cheaper compared to prop firm, because prop firm can be like $500 at once and you blow it in like 5 minutes. So there's a whole lot more for me to go through in terms of what I've learned, but I'll go through that in a more detailed video, should I say. Another thing is, futures are technically better for New York session just because of the pairs you trade. There's not that many instruments, to be honest. They're all similar, there's not that many, so it's better in New York session than London session in my opinion. But you know, you kind of just pick your poison again. So I might even start trading New York session. I probably will. We're about to hit TP right now. So if you did enjoy the video though, then do leave a like, leave a comment as well. And if you do trade futures, if you trade Forex, if you're gonna move to futures, let me know in the comments below. Are we gonna win? Yeah. Alright, so that's a wrap for this trade. Simple supply and demand. If you wanna trade with me, there'll be a link in the description below.